Hola Aguilas, it's Miss Bree, and today our Women's History Month book pick is A Computer Called Katherine, How Katherine Johnson Helped Put America on the Moon. It's written by Suzanne Slade and it's illustrated by Veronica Miller Jamison. If you guys have watched Hidden Figures, this is based off of one of the characters in that movie. So sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy this amazing read aloud. A Computer Called Katherine. How Katherine Johnson Helped Put America on the Moon. Everywhere she went, Katherine counted. She counted her steps to church, 1, 2, 3. She counted the plates on the dinner table, 4, 5, 6. She even tried counting the stars in the sky, 7, 8, 9, 10. Most important of all, Katherine counted the days until she could start school. Finally, at age 5, she followed her brother hundreds of steps to the 2-room schoolhouse. An excellent student, Katherine devoured thick books and added numbers at the speed of light, so the teacher decided she would skip first grade and start in second. But Katherine was such a fast learner, she later skipped 5th grade too. And before you could say magician, she was a grade ahead of her older brother. Katherine loved math because it was easy to see if an answer was right or wrong. Meanwhile, most everyone in town was arguing about right and wrong. Some people said it was wrong for children with different skin colors to attend the same school. Others said it wasn't right for women to work at the same job as men. Their arguments seemed wrong to Katherine, as wrong as 5 plus 5 equals 12. She believed everyone should be treated the same, so she kept working hard in school and dreamed of a future when all people would have equal rights. Katherine finished 8th grade when she was only 10 years old, but her town didn't have a high school for black students. Determined to keep learning, she counted the dusty miles, 120 in all, as her family moved closer to a school she could attend. There, she took an exciting math class called geometry. She learned how points and lines made shapes, triangles, trapezoids, and perfect parallelograms. And her love for math grew exponentially. At 15, Katherine started college. She flew through every math class at West Virginia State, so a professor taught harder classes just for her. In advanced geometry, she plotted points on a graph. When she connected the points, they created a beautiful U-shaped curve called a parabola. It was love at first sight. After graduation, Katherine became a math teacher. Back then, people said women could only be teachers or nurses. Katherine knew that was wrong as 10 minus 5 equals 3. She believed women could be anything, scientists, lawyers, or mathematicians. So she set out to prove it. Katherine discovered a research center in Virginia that was hiring women mathematicians. They were called computers because they made calculations that helped the men, engineers, design airplanes and flight plans. To Katherine, it added up to the perfect job. All day long, she punched buttons on a calculator just like the other women. She solved long math equations just like the other women, and she wrote answers on a huge data sheet just like the other women. Katherine wasn't like the other women. She asked questions, lots of questions. What were her calculations used for? Why were they important? How did her answers help design airplanes and flights? The men engineers noticed that the woman who asked intelligent questions and how quickly she solved difficult math problems, so they asked Katherine to join their space team. Its mission: send America's first astronaut into space. Katherine said yes. Then she discovered that women weren't allowed to attend the group's meetings. She knew that was wrong as 5 times 5 equals 20, so she asked if she could go. Women don't ever go to those, the engineers replied. Is there a law against it? Katherine asked. No. So Katherine showed up the next meeting ready to work. Astounded by her geometry skills, the team asked her to calculate when America's first space flight should blast off. Katherine agreed, But first she had questions like where should the rocket splash down and how high should it fly and where should it land? With that information, Katherine carefully computed the rocket's flight path, a beautiful U-shaped curve. Next, she worked backward to figure out the time it should blast off. Then she began counting the days until launch. On May 5th, 1961, Alan Shepard blasted off. Following Katherine's flight path, he soared into the silver sky. 15 minutes later, he splashed down in the Atlantic Ocean right on schedule and right on target. Soon, Americans began dreaming of a longer flight around the entire Earth. To figure out the math for this long, complicated trip, engineers decided to use their new room-sized computer that worked much faster than people. But astronaut John Glenn trusted Katherine more than a machine. He wouldn't step one foot onto the rocket until she said the computer's calculations were correct. Happy to help, Katherine checked every number. On February 20th, 1962, John Glenn became the first American to orbit Earth. Then people began wondering if an astronaut could travel all the way to the moon. Both the Soviet Union and the United States wanted to be the first to land there and win the space race. Katherine knew this flight was incredibly long and dangerous. Every calculation would have to be perfect. One math mistake and the rocket would zoom right past the moon. As NASA's computer hummed and computed a flight path to the moon and back, Katherine went to work too, double-checking the machine's calculations. But this was the most complicated geometry problem she'd ever seen. One of the points, the spacecraft was flying incredibly fast. Her target, the moon, was constantly circling Earth while spinning. Some people thought the problem was too difficult to solve, but Katherine knew that was wrong. As wrong as 25 divided by 5 equals 4. She calculated and computed, she plotted and planned, and created a bold, brave path all the way to the moon and back. 10, 9, ignition sequence starts. Heart racing, Katherine leaned close to the small television screen. 7, 6, 5, she held her breath as the powerful flames exploded on the launch pad. 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off! The rumbling rocket slowly rose above the ground, above the smoke, above the clouds, and then disappeared into ink-black space. 4 days later, as Neil Armstrong took his first steps on the moon, Katherine smiled and began to count. Girls are capable of doing everything men are capable of doing. If you want to know, ask a question. There is no such thing as a dumb question. Katherine Johnson. This timeline in the book is super fun. It kind of sends you down a rabbit hole of, oh, did you know? And, oh, I want to know more. This book is available in the library. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the takeaways. What an inspirational story and kind of a little peek in the past of what times were like for Katherine. I can't imagine how mind-blowing that was to not even be able to think it was possible to go to space, let alone put someone on the moon, and that all happened in Katherine's lifetime. What did you love most about this read aloud today? For me, the illustrations were so captivating and engaging, it was kind of hard to concentrate on the words. I loved how mathematical symbols and problems were woven into the illustrations. I definitely appreciated that effort that the illustrator put into the creativity for this book. Young Katherine was a bright light, eager and ready to learn all the math knowledge she could. I hope that this book inspires you all to come to school eager and ready to learn and to always ask questions. Never stop dreaming and always believe in yourself. That perseverance will help you reach all of your guys' goals, just like Katherine did. I hope you guys are enjoying our Women's History Month book picks. I know I am. We do have a Spanish book coming out next. If you've missed out on any of our read-alouds this month or in the past, you can go to Books and Brunch with Miss Bree on YouTube to check those out and catch up. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.